Welcome back to the third hour of our program. On the line with us is Pramilla Malick. Pramilla is the founder and chair of Protect Orange County, an environmental activist, 2016 state Senate candidate, and the host of the radio program Common Ground on WTBQ. Her website is blog.protectorangecounty.org, and you can tweet her at Pramilla, P-R-A-M-I-L-L-A-S, Malick, M-A-L-I-C-K. Pramilla, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. And I assume I'm pronouncing everything correctly?
Yes, absolutely, you are.
So tell us about Protect Orange County. Tell us about the work that you're doing and why it's necessary.
Well, Protect Orange County,
And this is Orange County, New York, right?
We're about an hour outside of New York City. And we really represent communities, frontline communities, that have found themselves at ground zero for the battle over our energy policy. And, you know, the United States in the last couple of years has really become an extraction economy based entirely on fracked oil and gas. And our neighboring state, Pennsylvania, is one of the most lucrative fracking fields in the country. But what that means for New York State is that, you know, now we're extracting all this oil and gas, and we need markets for it. And we also need to transport it. And so our community became, as I said, ground zero, the front line for the transportation of fracked gas, and also to serve as, to create facilities that would create markets for fracked gas. And so we found ourselves fighting something known as a gas compressor station way back in 2011. After that, well, actually, there was a pipeline in 2008, but people didn't know about fracking then. Then there was a compressor station in 2011, which we realized was actually being built to serve a fracked gas power plant. So this is a massive 650-megawatt fracked gas power plant, and it's really being built to serve New York City. And New York City is the second largest consumer of power in the world. So what we're doing is plugging the fracking fields in Pennsylvania to this massive power market. And, you know, it's not only going to lock us into fossil fuel dependency for the next 40 years and displace investments in renewables, it's really precipitating a public health catastrophe that spans from all the way from Pennsylvania right to our community in Orange County, and then a climate crisis that, you know, spans globally because methane is so much more harmful for climate change than any other source of pollutants or greenhouse.
And methane is the basic ingredient of natural gas.
Right, along with a whole bunch of co-contaminant chemicals that we don't even know about because of the Halliburton loophole in 2005. But so here's the conundrum, though. We live in New York State, the state that supposedly banned fracking. And, you know, we have a governor who, you know, considers himself a climate leader and is proclaimed by many groups to be a climate leader. And so we couldn't reconcile in our community what was happening to our communities on the front lines with this massive fracked gas infrastructure expansion and the rhetoric coming out of Albany. And so we knew something was going on behind the scenes. We knew there was backdoor dealing. We knew there was some type of corruption. What we didn't know is how bad it was. It turns out that the U.S. attorney filed charges against Governor Cuomo's closest aide, so close he's often known as the governor's, his father's third brother, so like a brother to Governor Cuomo, over his for accepting bribery from this energy company building this power plant. They had a very sophisticated pay-to-play scheme where they created a no-show job for his wife in order to funnel money to her. Now, we all know that we know how fossil fuel lobbyists work, and we all understand that there is the influence of money over our government. But I think none of us realize, or many people probably don't realize, how egregious it really was. So the trial for this former aide and also the energy executive who are charged with bribery and honest services fraud and extortion and a whole bunch of felony charges. The trial has been underway. in Manhattan at the Thurgood Marshall Courthouse for the last 6 weeks, and now there are jury deliberations. But and I was there every day for that trial, and it gave us a glimpse into how these lobbyists work, how these fossil fuel interests capture our government, and it was really shocking. It was really alarming. And what we discovered is something that we had suspected in our community, that this power plant was built not really because there's any need for its power, but really because it was in the personal interest of this aide and the lobbyists that the company hired. And that's just the illegal portion. There's a legal portion of it, which is legal but unethical, which is that the company funneled a lot of campaign donations for the governor's both 2010 run as well as their 2014 run in order to, quote unquote, shape the state's energy policy, which they were then able to do. But if you look at what happened in this case in Albany as a microcosm of what's happening around the country, we begin to understand why we actually have a climate crisis, and it has less to do with CO2 and methane and has a lot more to do with corruption.
And money.
And so I think that's the critical thing we need to understand. Not only that there is the influence of money over our government, but how they are able to do it.
Yeah. I'm totally with you, but Pramilla, forgive my interrupting, but we've got just a couple minutes left here before we're going to hit a break. What are you doing about this? What is Protect Orange County? What specifically are you doing, and what would you like other people to know about what you're doing, or in whatever way they might be able to help to protect Orange County, New York?
So, we're appealing to climate activists, to good government people, people who are really concerned about democracy, and public health and our environment, to really, jump on board and demand that this project get shut down. We're asking Governor Cuomo to shut it down. So on our website, we have a petition that people can sign. People can help us. We've got several legal challenges underway. And I would say that if you live in a state where this company is building a power plant, I suggest you begin to investigate what's happening in your own state, because this company, Competitive Power Ventures, they build these frack gas power plants all over the country, and they are building them to serve major metropolitan areas, which, again, if we allow them to get away with this, it's game over for the climate.
Isn't there also typically a fairly short lifespan to fracked gas fields? I mean, aren't they typically exhausted within 5 to 10 years? It seems kind of crazy to build a power plant just because there's a gas field there if it's not going to last more than a decade.
Right. Well, they have cooked up sophisticated schemes to make ratepayers pay for it. So we're paying for being poisoned, ironically. Right. And what they're doing, United States in 2015 began getting more energy from fracked gas, or from gas. Most of the gas today is fracked, than any other source of power. Right. So we're closing down nuclear plants and we're closing down coal plants, but we're really replacing them with fracked gas power plants under this false narrative that the industry really cooked up, that gas was a bridge fuel, which we know now the science is clear that it absolutely is not. And in this pay-to-play corruption scheme, when deals were being made way back in 2010, one of those deals was to get the governor to shut down a nuclear power plant, major nuclear power plant serving New York City, Indian Point, in order to open up the market.
Pramilla, we're flat out of time, but I wish you the very best. Blog.protectorangecounty.org. You can tweet her at Pramilla S. Malick, M-A-L-I-C-K. Thank you so much for being with us.